Mr. Chief Justice, and may it please the court. Tennessee lawmakers enacted SB 1 to protect minors from risky, unproven medical interventions. Its application turns entirely on medical purpose, not a patient's sex. That is not sex discrimination. We do not think that giving puberty blockers to a 6-year-old that has started precocious puberty is the same medical treatment as giving it to a minor who wants to transition. Those are not the same medical treatment. And once
what
you
you're
recognize,
saying is you're still depending on sex to identify who can get it and who can't.
Today, Tennessee Solicitor General Matthew Rice defended his state's anti-trans law before the Supreme Court, arguing that the denial of gender-affirming care is not a form of sex-based discrimination. To do this, Rice leaned heavily on the Dobbs ruling from the court, which struck down federal abortion access and eroded the Equal Protections Clause by ruling that ending abortion access at the federal level does not constitute sex discrimination, despite the fact that abortion care directly affects the health of one sex and not the other. In other words, Dobbs effectively opened the floodgates for the rollback of anti-discrimination protections across the board. Joining me now to break down the avalanche effect this ruling might have, Professor Leah Littman from the University of Michigan and co-host of the Strict Scrutiny podcast, and Mark Joseph Stern, senior writer at Slate Magazine. Leah and Mark, I'm so eager to have this conversation with both of you guys. Leah, first, just how is denying gender-affirming care for a specific group of individuals based largely on sex, if not entirely on sex, how is that not sex-based discrimination?
It is sex-based discrimination. There is no way of getting around it. As Justice Kagan and the lawyers challenging the ban repeatedly pointed out, this entire law is imbued with sex. The law's text repeatedly talks about sex and says that its purpose is to encourage people to live in accordance with their sex. It prohibits individuals from receiving certain care depending on their sex assigned at birth. A girl who is assigned female sex at birth can get some hormones that a person who is assigned male sex at birth cannot. It's just that simple, and there's no getting around it. And so the Tennessee lawyer and the Republican appointed justices were left with wordplay to insist it was about something else, like age or medicine, even though, of course, it's also about sex.
And the reason they're doing that, Mark, I mean, there's a very canny reason that they're trying to avoid saying this is rooted in sex-based discrimination. And that's because it would be subject to higher scrutiny if it was, right? Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So if this is sex-based discrimination, which, as Leah said, it obviously is, then courts have to subject it to something called intermediate scrutiny, which means that they have to ask whether it has an exceedingly persuasive justification, basically whether the state has a really good reason and a lot of evidence for what it did here. And for all the reasons you mentioned just a moment ago, the state has no good reasons for doing this. All of the major medical associations have said that these bans are bad for children's health care, that they're bad science and bad medicine. And so Tennessee is desperately trying to avoid that more searching level of scrutiny, desperately trying to avoid triggering the Equal Protection Clause by using this kind of blizzard of wordplay to pretend as though this doesn't differentiate on the basis of sex. But it so clearly does that I think that the Supreme Court is going to do a lot of damage to the doctrine of gender equality in order to get around this very basic fact.
Putting this in a broader perspective, Leah, Chase Strangio, who argued the case for the ACLU today and happens to be the first openly trans person to argue before the Supreme Court, in an interview in the estimable Slate magazine with the great Dahlia Lithwick, Chase said, and I think this is worth sort of unpacking for a minute, if we take a step back and look at this moment we're in and the obsession with trans people during the 2024 elections, it wasn't really about trans people. They are using these attacks on trans people to re-entrench old notions of what is the proper role of men and women in society. And indeed, Leah, you can see that extending to the arguments around abortion and contraception access and even no-fault divorce. All of this comes back to sort of traditionalism versus the vanguard of where the civil rights movement is headed, does it not?
Yes, I think it is all very much related to trying to enforce traditional notions of sex and gender. I mean, the gist of the Tennessee law is basically the state is saying we want boys to be boys and girls to be girls, and here's what we think boys are, and here's what we think girls are. You look at abortion restrictions, and of course these are about, well, we think the proper role of women, right, is to be mothers and to bear children. And of course, this is also related to the restrictions on no-fault divorce laws. We think the proper role of women is to be wives, and for them to stay in marriages with husbands. And, you saw the long arm and the long shadow of Dobbs and the court's rollback of civil rights repeatedly throughout the argument in the trans healthcare case as well. You had Justice Alito invoking his decision in Dobbs, saying, well, basically, we upheld a law that restricted healthcare for women and jeopardized their lives. So why can't we just do that here? And so the court facilitating states enforcing, traditional notions of gender at great cost to people is definitely a through line in all of this. And it's really concerning because we have now seen the consequences of these abortion restrictions playing out. And we are likely to see really tragic consequences from states rolling back health care for transgender individuals as well.
Yeah, Mark, to that point, I mean, this is coming as the court is really seeing in the media, largely to ProPublica, the result of Dobbs overturning Roe, the cost, the deathly cost, the mortal cost of that decision. And they have been armed, courtesy of the Biden administration and the ACLU, with stats on what this does to trans minors who contemplate and execute suicidal thoughts at a vastly greater rate than non-trans minors, especially if they're denied gender-affirming medication. I wonder if you think any of that is crossing the radar in a meaningful way for these conservative justices. What's your expectation here?
Unfortunately, I don't really think it is. Justice Kavanaugh kept bringing up detransitioners who are very rare, but he kept saying, well, we have to protect them. We have to protect children who think they want this treatment, but they don't really want it and they'll regret it later on. He is setting up this kind of paradigm where the bans are actually doing good for people by protecting them from getting this allegedly experimental treatment. But, as always, Alex, I think it's fascinating to look at who this court has empathy for. This is a court with boundless empathy for people who want to own and carry guns, with corporations that want to pollute or scam people and get off scot-free, and with states and state legislatures that want to outlaw abortion and subject women to, having to develop sepsis or hemorrhage before they can get emergency care. Those people who tend to mostly be men, they get so much sympathy and empathy from these conservative justices. But when it comes to children who are just pleading for basic equality, a basic application of equal protection from this court, they get turned away. I think it's pretty clear they're going to be, given a cold shoulder, and that is not a fair and equal application of the law by any means.
Leah Littman and Mark Joseph Stern, really, there are two no better people. Well, I love you guys. I shouldn't say that because everyone's so brilliant that we invite on, but you guys are especially so brilliant on the courts and the law. Thank you guys so much for your time and insight.
Thank you.